Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Now would be a good time to go to the poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Is the addition of Phil Kessel enough to get the Vegas Golden Knights into the playoffs? And I would suggest no. They're not, unfortunately, the same Vegas Golden Knights. Last I saw, over 70% of our voters are saying no. It's not going to be enough to get them into the playoffs. And Darren, I'm afraid to say I think they shot their wad coming out of the cannon. These great first 5 seasons in Vegas, or 4 for sure. And now they're on the playoff cutoff line. And a big reason for that is what everybody else is doing in their division. The LA Kings, you got to think, going to be better. You know, they got in last year, lost to Edmonton in round 1, but you'd think they'd be better. Oilers, we know, are going to be Canada's best team in the NHL coming back. The Flames feel they're better than last year. Anaheim's going to take, I think, a major step forward. So as we look at the Vegas Golden Knights and their roster sitting here today, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, Phil Kessel or not.
You look about 18 months ago, and Vegas looked at this division, and it was theirs to lose, right? 18 to 24 months ago it was Vegas, and then a big gap before you even got to Edmonton, Calgary, and the rest of that division. But now the gap is so small, and they're not at the top of it. They're struggling to work their way out of the basement of it. You're right. Edmonton or LA and Anaheim are going to be so much better next year. They should be if they continue what they did last season.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's the Calgary Stampeders at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Bo Levi Mitchell is not starting for Calgary. It's the first time that he's, in his career, I think, that he's been healthy and is not starting for Calgary. Big story there.
This isn't, a fly-by-night decision. This isn't something you just make on a whim just to try something new. This is a big decision.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Flame Tech Football Friday. Hey, what a day, what a day, what a day. What a day to not debut, but use my Stampeders bell. Holy smokes. It's a Football Friday. We do have our hockey talk that we're going to mix in, but I'm going to tell you, this is just going to be so much fun. We've got a Dolphins home game weekend. As you can see, I'm wearing my Dolphins gear. Feels good to have it out of the bag. And let's bring in the Moose, Darren DuPont. He is in the heartland of the Canadian Football League. And I'm going to tell you, coming up on the program today, our NFL, the best NFL analyst going, period. Canada, America, Tori Gurley. I just love him so much. He'll be with us from South Carolina. And Alain Poupart, Sports Illustrated Miami Dolphins writer, as the Dolphins get ready to host the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday night. Can I tell you something, Moose? Those are the guests. You asked me before we went to air how hot it is here in South Florida. And just to give you an idea, I tweeted the poll, and I mistweeted it. And thank you, Clark, for pointing that out. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, what's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? And I tweeted the options, BC, Saskatchewan, and I meant to type XFL, but my hands are all sweaty and they slipped off, and I typed CFL or other. So the options are BC, Sask, XFL, or other. And on the radio yesterday, everybody loves that feature that we do. What are they talking about today on Miami Sports Radio? If we can bring the Moose back in. And here was the weather report yesterday. It's hot, guys. It's hot. It's been hot for months. And tonight it's going to be hot again in the low 80s. So take care out there. The weather brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. So anyways, there's my opening preamble. How are you?
Not that hot, actually. It's pretty comfortable. I mean, the evening last night was gorgeous. Went out and spent it outside, about 25 degrees in the evening. So it's been awesome. No complaints here. At least it's not 100 degrees.
Not complaining here either, but having just a heck of a great time as we get ready for a big NFL game this weekend. All right, can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And let's get into this because it is a Football Friday. And as you know, we made the decision this week. We're going to talk on a daily basis this fall, CFL, NFL, and NHL. We got them all for you here in the Quick Six. But number one, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers made their return to the win column with a 31-29 win over the Calgary Stampeders on Thursday Night Football. Winnipeg also made history, being the first CFL team to win 400 home games. I'm going to be honest, that surprises me a little bit. Bravo, Winnipeg, simply based on the fact that the Toronto Argonauts have been around for like 130 years. How have they not won 400 home games first? Maybe they addressed it on the broadcast. I don't know. I actually had the sound down watching it last night. Zach Caleros threw for 2 touchdowns in the victory. Jake Meyer threw for 294 for the Stampeders, 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So I'm going to get to the obvious discussion here is, did Jake Meyer do enough to earn a start next week for the Calgary Stampeders? And while I thought he did, and I watched the game, and what a great game it was, Darren, let me just say this. I called around and I talked to some of my football people, my analysts, my round table, and one of these coaches in the States said to me, Rod, did you see the quarterback efficiency rating for Jake Meyer? And I said, as a matter of fact, I didn't. He said he was like 150. He goes, I'm not sure I've ever seen a quarterback rating that high. So while the Stamps didn't win, Jake Meyer played great. So what did they expect out of their starting quarterback? So Jake Meyer is clearly the future of the Calgary Stampeders, but is the future here now? And how long do we await before a trade's made for Bo Levi Mitchell? So that's one initial take on the game last night. What's yours?
Yeah, it's a big conversation point this morning, you know, as everybody's having their morning coffee or into the afternoon out east, is Jake Meyer and the Calgary quarterback situation. And he was great. You know, he played, you know, at the 3 touchdown passes. He had the great efficiency rating, almost 300 yards. So he did enough. Now, they didn't win, but I think he did enough to at least earn another start.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would have been a good poll question, too. Interestingly enough, let's hear from the people in the chat. Because the poll results that I saw in the early going here, again for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, is what's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? Apparently we're moving on from Bo in Calgary. Those days are over. Sask, BC, XFL or other. And leading the way early on was other. And I'm like, where else would he go? I want to say I am clearly not going to name my roundtable of football gods, but they are football gods. None of them, I don't think, are in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, but every single one of them should be, and they're almost entirely in America. And I said, I don't want, because they would stop talking to me if I outed who they were, but you like my imitations of them. So I'm just going to tell people, here's one imitation from just this morning. And I worked with all these guys, almost, yeah, all of them. Yeah, that's how I know them, I guess. No, I haven't worked with all of them. Just a mutual respect for years in the league. And this guy's like, Rod, I barely knew him. And we had a small staff, and I don't even remember meeting him. I'm like, well, and you know who that was? And you know who we were talking about? And I could sit there and just put these guys on speakerphone and just listen to them talk. You know,
and that could be 2 hours of sports talk radio.
I know. Me imitating these guys. You never know. Oh, my God. I love it. I love these guys. And the thing is, here's the reason. I'm not... One thing I know as a certified recovery coach, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. So while I think I got a pretty good handle on hockey, I could use some help in the football analysis. And that nugget right there from that one coach, Jake Meyer's efficiency rating was 150. Rod, I never seen one that high. So yeah, Jake Meyer probably going to start next week for the Calgary Stampeders, even though he didn't win. Moving on to point 2, the National Football League. The Chiefs and Packers rested most of their starters in their preseason finale Thursday night, which Kansas City won 17-10. Jordan Love threw for 148 yards with an interception in his final work before Aaron Rodgers takes over for Green Bay in the regular season. In Houston, Davis Mills threw a touchdown pass to Chris Moore to help the Texans beat the San Francisco 49ers 17-0 Thursday night. And the biggest news out of the NFL came out of Cincinnati, where the Bengals and Rams ended their joint practice session early after a chippy day that ended with Rams star Aaron Donald repeatedly swinging his helmet at Bengals players before getting thrown to the ground. Players threw fists and helmets during scuffles, leading up to a final free-for-all, with Donald getting thrown to the ground as mentioned. Bengals coach Zach Taylor downplayed the event, saying, quote, "Emotions run high." The Bengals and Rams, who played in the Super Bowl last year, face each other in the final preseason game Saturday night in Cincy. My take, because it is the Rod Pedersen Show, what do you think's going to happen with joint practices? They do these because they don't want to bang each other for a month, so they bring in opposition, and tensions are going to run high. It's a violent game played by violent people, and that's why I think Zach Taylor is saying he's the coach of the Bengals, obviously, former Winnipeg quarterback, saying this is going to happen. But again, you coached football, Moose. If you were coaching one of these teams, how would you feel?
Well, for sure. The Dolphins just had a joint practice, and I can't remember who it was with, but one of their with the Eagles. Thank you. One of the offensive linemen, the young offensive lineman, was saying that some of the Eagles defenders were giving him pointers on how to do this and how to do that. And it's good to get that feedback from the opposition. So there's a healthy respect. But you've got two teams who just played in the biggest game of the year in the Super Bowl, now having a joint practice. And one team's got a little chip on their shoulder because they lost. All it takes is one little comment, a joke or not, to set the whole thing off. And, you're playing with fire when you have the joint practices. I like them. The teams still like to do them. But you are playing with fire, and you get that emotion running pretty high.
What did they think was going to happen? So over the last couple of years, they've moved to joint practices, and this happens in one city almost every year. I remember the Cowboys a couple of years ago had it happen in Oxnard. I can't remember who their opposition was. Somebody will remember. It's football. And while nobody in football gets that worked up about it, it's been running ad nauseum on all the sports networks in America. Ooh, even the news networks. A brawl breaks up between the Bengals and Rams. Well, yeah. What did you think was going to happen? Anyways, I'm moving on, other than to open the 902 text line. And Stephen, writing from North Dakota, Lansford, North Dakota. He says, "Greetings, it's finally Friday," sung in George Jones' voice. He goes, 19 degrees Celsius and sunny in Lansford, North Dakota. Is the CFL adrift even more with the NFL beginning? I don't know. One thing that I have received is a lot of feedback from people saying, "Rod, I'm so glad you're going to talk more CFL." And what we've said in our internal meetings is we're getting messages from CFL fans in obviously Canadian CFL markets, but also American viewers saying, "We love the CFL coverage, give us more." And as we've decided, what do you do when people ask you for something? You give it to them as much as you can. So the CFL will do what it does. We'll do what we do. A lot more CFL coverage. Hey, bring the thrill of the track to your fingertips with Woodbine's Dark Horse Bets app. Its AI-powered insights and strategies help you make smarter bets straight out of the gate. Feel the excitement of live-streamed horse races wherever you go. Download the app for free at playdarkhorse.com. Available for Android and Apple devices. I will say this. If I listened to their advice, I might actually make money. But no. Rod's got to go against the grain. Rod doesn't win in his betting. That's why I largely don't bet. We talk NHL every day. We have made that promise to you and to ourselves. This email came from NHL.com today, and they're profiling the New York Islanders, and I have some thoughts on that. Why would we limit ourselves to one league when we have friends in all of them and inside information? The New York Islanders acquired a top-5 defenseman in Alexander Romanov, a 22-year-old, from the Montreal Canadiens back on July 7th for the number 13 pick in this year's NHL draft, like from last month. Romanov, emerging defenseman Noah Dobson, and forward Kiefer Bellows all signed new contracts with the Islanders on August 22nd. Center Brock Nelson is back after scoring a career-high 37 goals. Captain Anders Lee scored 28 goals in 76 games after he had ACL surgery in March of 2021, if you recall. And here's one for you, Darren. The Islanders tied with the Sabres for 22nd in the NHL for goals scored last year. They struggled on offense at 2.79 goals per game. But defensively, they were second best in the NHL in goals against. Second only to the Boston Bruins at 2.56. So, a big reason for that is the goaltending tandem of Ilya Sorokin and Semyon Varlamov. 5 solid defensemen, all under the age of 29. And the aforementioned moves at forward will put the Islanders, they hope, back into the playoffs for after missing for the first time since 2018. So, they got a new coach, too, let's not forget, in Lane Lambert, right? They inexplicably fired Barry Trotz after they missed the playoffs this year. Good question, would make a good poll for the hockey fans out there. Informal poll, do the Islanders make the playoffs? And you would think in that Metropolitan Division that they're in, where every team that made the playoffs had 100 points or more, which I think was for the first time ever. Who's going to fall that would allow the Islanders to get in? But let's not forget, they were in the conference final the year before and then tumbled right out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And the interesting, so somebody might, it could happen. And the interesting thing, I talked to Jordan Eberle at that golf tournament this summer. You were there. Thank you, Rocky Mountain Rotary Classic, for having us there at Bears Paw. Jordan Eberle was there. Known him since he was 15, Ebbs. We talked about him going to Seattle, and he goes, I love Seattle. I wish we won a little more. He goes, but having the Islanders miss the playoffs this year made it a little easier to swallow. And that is so quintessential Eberle. He's not taking a shot at the Islanders. You know, he's just classy in every regard. But when they left him exposed in the expansion draft, we're like, who wouldn't want Jordan Eberle? Or to give him away for nothing, which is what the Islanders did. But here's Ebbs going, he wasn't laughing or going, na boo boo at all, which I would have. But he's like, I love Seattle, it's great. And it just made it easier to go there because the Islanders missed the playoffs too. So do they come back this year into the postseason, Moose?
They'll need to find some scoring. That's the biggest thing. And some support, you know, for Nielsen, but for Matthew Barzal, for him to find that magic again and continue his trajectory. I'm in the back end. I'm a big fan of Noah Dobson's, real big fan of his.
Yeah.
So I think they're, you know, set up to be really good defensively. And that's what we knew when Barry Trotz was coaching that team. They were great defensively and they won a lot of low scoring games, but they're going to have to find a way to generate some goals. They may need to add to their top 6 at some point, but if they can be a pretty good team moving forward. So I could see them getting back, but it'll all depend on the message that Lambert is sending behind the bench. That'll be interesting.
Well, listen, I've known Lane Lambert, or as his friends call him, Vane Lambert, since he played in the Western Hockey League. He's from Swift Current. He played for the Blades. The photo of him at NHL.com, or the photo of the Islanders bench, I don't think is Lane Lambert. That's how little, I guess, is known about Lane from anybody outside hockey people. But you're right. He is the X factor.
Yeah.
And not who am I to criticize Lou Lamoriello. But it's so hard to score in the National Hockey League specifically. How do you let a guy like Jordan Eberle, a natural goal scorer, go? But whatever. They missed the playoffs, and like you say, they need to find offense. When we come back, we'll move into the bottom 3 show topics. People are writing in, and they're peeking. They're reading my diary, Moose. They know what's coming. Babcock, Blue Jays, Riders, Lions. It's all ahead. We'll be right back. This is the warm-up. On the way, Tori Gurley and Alain Poupart, NFL analyst. It's a Football Friday on the RPShow you're watching on Game Plus TV. YouTube Live, of course, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
Blefusco's army is at the city wall! Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
Number 16, a legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
RPShow continues on this Friday, and hey, in theaters now, Beast. Idris Elba stars in a pulse-pounding new thriller about a father and his 2 teenage daughters who find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has but one apex predator. Check it out this weekend, Beast. And hey, you could be going to Landmark Cinemas right now with the RPShow. Text MOVIES to 902-518-3033 to be entered to win tickets and treats to Landmark Cinemas. We'll be awarding them today. Winners picked every week to go to the movies. I will be going to Bullet Train this weekend, Moose, and probably pushing off Beast until next week as we welcome him into the program. Which one sounds more interesting to you, Beast or Bullet Train at Landmark Cinemas?
It's Bullet Train, but Beast does look pretty good. They're on the savannah there with the lion and everything else. It does look pretty intense, but Bullet Train for me will be my pick.
Moving on to point 4 in our quick 6 show topics. And by the way, we've covered last night's Winnipeg win over Calgary, NFL preseason games, and we've previewed the New York Islanders season. Point 4, the Toronto Blue Jays squeezed out a 6-5 win in the 10th inning to complete a series sweep over the Boston Red Sox Thursday. Automatic runner Kevin Biggio took third on a ground out and then rushed home on George Springer's grounder to short. Danny Jansen had 3 hits, including a home run for the Blue Jays. They have won 7 of their last 8. Hey, what do you say? What do we think about the automatic runner on second base in extra innings? We think it's great because the Blue Jays have won 2 games because of it this week. Had they lost for that reason, that sucks, get rid of that rule. Am I doing it right?
Yeah, bang on. Like, that's exactly how it goes.
Okay, thank you. So not ranting today, but if I were, it would be for Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. We'll get to the Babcock stuff in a moment. We got a lot of time left in this segment, and then Alain Poupart coming up later on, Dolphins writer for Sports Illustrated. But our fifth point is the CFL tonight. I got a couple thoughts on them. It's the 3-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats at the 4-5 Toronto Argonauts in the first game of a doubleheader, and then later on tonight it's the BC Lions. I love saying it that way. Home to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Can the Ticats fans tell me why Dane Evans is starting tonight, if in fact he has? Because I'm reading the game, or if he is, because I'm reading the game notes. Matthew Schultz Creek, is coming off his best performance of his career last week for Hamilton at Montreal. Yeah, they lost by a point, but why is he not starting again? Can somebody answer that for me? Maybe there's a good enough reason. I don't know. But let's move on to the game because we are Western Canadian-based, at least produced the RP Show at IKS Media in the sweatpants capital at Saskatoon, BC. Darren, agree or disagree? This is not a must-win game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but it is a must-win game for Cody Fajardo. Because if he falters tonight and doesn't play well, I'm not sure he'll start another game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
That's, pretty accurate. It's not a must-win game. They're a 500 football team. I mean, they've got some room here to make some mistakes down the stretch and still be a playoff team. All you need to do in Saskatchewan is get this thing right by the time you get to the playoffs. You got to do enough to get in, and you got to be right on your way in, because then all you got to do is win a couple of games and you're in the Grey Cup, right, at home. So that's A. B is there's a lot of pressure, you're right, on Cody in this game. And, we know he's got the ability. We know he's been able to have a lot of success. But I think I'm with you. If he doesn't play well, and I don't think he has to win. I really don't. But I think he has to play well. He has to have good numbers. He has to protect the football. He has to show some efficiency. If he doesn't, and God forbid he gets pulled at some point in this football game, I'm with you. I think they might turn the keys over to the guys behind him.
So let's spend some time on this. It's our highest viewership of the day yet, and for those that tune in a little earlier, we covered the Calgary-Winnipeg game off the start, and Jake Maier maybe didn't have to win for Calgary, but he needed to play well, and he had a 150 rating, quarterback efficiency rating, right around there. And for Cody tonight, does he need to play well but still lose? He needs to do whatever it takes to win for himself. And back to our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, what's a likely landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell, BC, Saskatchewan, the XFL, or other? And Clark, do you have a sample size? What are they saying now? What are they saying? Still leading the way is other. Can you people tell me where other is? Because I have no idea where he would go other than Saskatchewan, BC, or the XFL and his hometown Houston Roughnecks. I have no idea, but it looks like the Stampeders are prepared to move on, and then it's Jake Maier's team. Now, somebody wrote in here, I think it's Tacona in Winnipeg, and he says Dane Evans is starting because they're paying him more dough. Wiki. Wake up and smell the coffee. If that was the case, Bo Levi would be playing for Calgary. Or Cody Fajardo wouldn't have been benched last week because he's getting more money. Maybe that's why he's starting this week. But the odds makers have the BC Lions and Michael O'Connor, who's making his first career start, the favorite tonight by 4 against Cody Fajardo, who's getting, Kyran Moore back, getting some guys back. They still don't think the Rough Riders will win at BC tonight. So, and with those coaches that I talked to this morning, they were more intent on talking about the Calgary situation than the Sask thing. Cody, that discussion was more yesterday. They all feel it's mental with Cody. They all feel it. And it's in my commentary today. I would love to pair Cody up with a mental coach. I've offered my friends that are mental strength coaches to the Rough Riders. They weren't interested. But do you not agree, Darren, as the football guy, that Cody Fajardo in 2019, with the benefit of a much better O-line and a different offensive coordinator, he was the MVP of the division. He's capable of greatness, but we're not seeing it right now. They feel it's all mental. Do you?
I think it's part mental. And, here's the thing. Situation plays into so much. And sometimes it's just a compatibility thing, and you talked about a different offensive coordinator. It could be that Cody Fajardo and Jason Moss just aren't on the same page. That, the offense that Jason Moss has had success with and wants to implement in Saskatchewan just doesn't fit Cody Fajardo, or they don't read it the same way, or they're just off. And sometimes when it's off, it's just off and it can't be fixed. And, Cody still has opportunities to be really great. But, have we figured out when the CFL's trade deadline is? Because I tried to Google it and I couldn't find it. NHL trade deadline came up at the top of the Google searches. But besides that, they're going to see what they have in Mason Fine behind Cody if they're indeed going to make a change. And then they'll go down the Vernon Adams, the Bo Levi route, what other options might be available via trade or who might be a free agent coming in. But there's a lot riding on this game.
Dude, I would hope they are not going to put the fortunes of this season in the hands of Mason Fine. This is top 5 seasons in Saskatchewan Roughrider history based on the fact they're hosting the Grey Cup. Doesn't happen very often. Mason Fine, who's not even a household name in his own home? Now, from what I've heard, talking with the insiders, major divide within the Saskatchewan Roughriders brain trust over the immediate and long-term future of the franchise. Who's surprised? Stress makes people do crazy things, and losing does as well. And after a 4-1 start, the Riders are now 1-4. So they're getting into desperate territory. That's what makes tonight's game so massive for Cody Fajardo specifically. Now, everybody's writing in saying, well, here's Colin in Ottawa, says Cody might want to get benched because whomever's behind that O-line is more likely to end up in the hospital rather than the Grey Cup. That's why I deferred to the football people. And a lot of the guys that I talked to have coached in the NFL and the CFL. And I was watching Pittsburgh and Jacksonville the other night. Jacksonville, the worst team in the NFL. They're one of. And I understand Trevor Lawrence, their quarterback, is special. There's not a lot of them around. But he's got Henry Burris coaching him there. And Trevor Lawrence is making something out of nothing. He's moving the football. He's getting first downs with, I think, statistically the worst offensive line in football. So it can be done. What the coaches are saying, this is not about per se personnel or even weapons around him. They feel Cody Fajardo could be better. Could Bo Levi Mitchell be effective with the Saskatchewan offense? This is the discussion. Craze32 writes in, he says, I think Calgary keeps Bo in case Jake gets bigger offers and leaves. Might not be up to Calgary. I think Jake Mayer's contract's up. Bo Levi Mitchell's contract is up. The town ain't big enough for both of them. How many times have we seen that in pro sports markets? No. And I don't think Bo, as a matter of fact, I know Bo isn't going to be anybody's bridesmaid.
No.
I said it yesterday. I think Bo and I, actually, although we have been mortal enemies forever, there's now a mutual respect there. And when I say that, I mean we think the same way. I'm not going to be anybody's second choice. Beat it. What did I tell you? I'll go shovel shit in the Calgary Stampede corrals before I go back to doing what I was doing before. And believe me, I will. Bo ain't going to be anybody's bridesmaid. And nor am I. Point 6, former NHL coach Mike Babcock has stepped down as head coach of the Saskatchewan Huskies after one season with the U Sports team. Babs had joined the Huskies on a full-time volunteer basis in February of 2021 after spending 17 seasons in the NHL with Anaheim, Detroit, and Toronto. The Saskatchewan product guided the Red Wings to the Stanley Cup in 2008 and Canada to men's Olympic gold in 2010 and 2014. So, caught me a little off guard. I don't know about you. It did. Nobody ever talks to Babs, even though I have his number. I talk to Babs' people. And this all kind of surprised them, too. It didn't take long before my phone was ringing with contacts saying that Babs will be the next general manager of the Brandon Wheat Kings. Who knows? So I tweeted, wouldn't it be something if Mike Babcock became the next GM of the Wheat Kings? That is the talk out there, the rumor. What do you think, Moose? Is that a signal, Scratch? Is that a signal to stop talking about it? Or?
No. Yeah, exactly.
What's your
Just
thought?
like when I pull on my right earlobe, it is a signal that no. Look, when he started and took this job, where it was 2 years volunteer position to groom the next head coach, right? To get the program onto a different track and groom the next head coach. And, Brandon Cote's that guy who's now taking over. And we had understood, though, that the plan was for him to only really stay for a year and then leave. But this does feel really sudden and does not feel like it was part of the plan. We thought that he'd have offers in the National Hockey League after one season. That hasn't happened. But perhaps he's going to end up, closer to an organization as an advisor with a plan to step in after the year. I'm not really sure, but it'll be interesting to follow. The Brandon Wheat King thing, you kind of talked to me about that this morning. And, after having the conversation, it does seem like a possibility. But, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something I could see him doing right now. I think for Mike, it's probably NHL or bust because, he's still making the money, right, in the NHL. And that's why he's not getting paid by the U of S.
As one of Bab's closest friends said to me yesterday, he goes, could I see him going to Brandon? No, but I didn't see him going to the University of Saskatchewan Huskies either. So who knows? So that's what's up with Mike Babcock in the news today, the Stanley Cup champion head coach and Olympic gold medalist. Moose, I'll see you next hour. It's been fun. Appreciate you.
You bet. See you then.
Alain Poupart joins us next, Sports Illustrated Dolphins writer. Been covering the Finns since 1989. They're home to the Eagles Saturday night. Can't wait to chat about it. It's a Football Friday here on the RP Show. You're watching on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states, including the Sunshine State of Florida. We're also on YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games.
Play among legends at betregal.net.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Football Friday continues from beautiful South Florida. We're brought to you in part by Edo Japan. With more than 160 restaurants nationwide, Edo Japan is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated for more than 40 years. Well, Alain Poupart started in Canada. He's now in South Florida, has been for a long time. Right? Alain, pleased to chat with you, publisher of All Dolphins for Sports Illustrated. I've been reading your stuff for a long time. It's a pleasure to bring you on in the Dolphins home game week. The Eagles in town Saturday night after a week of joint practices. Welcome to the RP Show, man. How you doing? How's your Friday?
Pretty good so far. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen, before we go into this deep Dolphins talk, you've been covering this team since 1989. I think I'm more interested in your story, how you got to Quebec to covering the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, I moved with my parents here in the early 80s, went to school, studied journalism, and eventually got a job and started with Dolphin Digest in 1989. So that's when I started on a full-time basis and went through a couple of different jobs, but never stopped covering the Dolphins on a full-time basis. And now this is going to be my 3rd season as the publisher of All Dolphins.
Well, it's obviously been quite a ride. You do a fantastic job, and I've particularly enjoyed your detailed practice. Listen, I covered the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 20 years. I'm reading your training camp updates. I'm like, they're just like mine. This guy's grinding. It's been hot out there at Baptist Health Facility, but it looks like the Dolphins have been getting a lot of great work done. So what's the outlook here heading into Saturday night's game against the Eagles?
Well, there's a lot of mystery here going on this week because they had to cancel the second of the 2 joint practices with the Eagles Thursday because there was a stomach bug going around several Dolphin players. Head coach Mike McDaniel said it was more than a couple of players, not half the team, so it wasn't like that dramatic, but they wanted to be extra cautious about not spreading the thing around and wanted to make sure that they'd be able to play the game Saturday night. So now, having said all that, with every preseason game, particularly a finale, it's up in the air who's going to play, who's not going to play. And now you got this added to the mix because we don't know which players were affected by it. And if somebody was affected and is still not feeling great either today or then tomorrow heading into the game, they're obviously not going to play. As it is, you wonder, okay, how many of the frontline players are going to play? Is there really a need to? Tyreek Hill hasn't played so far in the preseason. Do we really need to see him in a preseason game to know he's fast? I'm going to say no. Tua Tagovailoa played 2 series against the Raiders last Saturday. Actually had a pretty solid outing, even though those 2 drives produced only 3 points. But whenever you're talking about the quarterback positions, I mean, there are circumstances around the quarterback that affect his performance. I mean, it's not his fault that Sony Michel was stuffed for no gain on 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1, and an offensive lineman committed a false start when they were going to go on 4th down, limiting them to a field goal. So that's not on him. And then the first drive ended on a 3rd down incompletion when tight end Mike Gesicki didn't turn around. So long answer short, it's becoming a long answer, actually. The outlook for tomorrow is the biggest question. Is we don't know who's going to play. I wouldn't expect a ton of the frontline players to play because the last thing you want is somebody to like tear an Achilles or blow out a knee in the preseason finale. They've done some good work in practice, and that's as valuable, if not more, than what happens in the preseason game.
Alain, mon ami, if I can read some viewer comments here, if you don't mind. Jeff in Winnipeg says, Vive les Expos. Andrew Stout says, Bonjour, Alain. And that's why I said your name the way I did. I apologize prior to the break. Yeah, bilingual here. Expos, Randy from Winnipeg, 1994 Expos world champion. So they're paying attention to what you're wearing, Alain, this morning.
Breaking my heart right there. So, when I hear 1994 Expos, it crushes me every time I hear it.
Yes, me too. Right. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to point out that you're absolutely right. That I'm French Canadian, but I've lived here so long, and I have my first name butchered so long that I just ask people just call me Alan. So.
Okay, well, I will call you. I'll call you whatever you want. I appreciate you coming on the show. And we're not going to have enough time to get everything that I want. We'll have to bring you back another time. But I got to say this, Tyreek Hill, I think it was just yesterday, saying great things coming from the Dolphins. And Stephen A. said this morning he's just talking on behalf of the Dolphins marketing team. This team's going to be brutal this year. So what do you think is the outlook for the Fish in the AFC East?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. They're not going to be brutal. That's completely ridiculous. Are they going to be as great as Tyreek Hill is portraying? Yeah, that's hard to believe too. But look, here's the thing: is he wanted a new contract. KC didn't want to pay him what he wanted. The Dolphins made the trade. They gave him a huge contract, I think, which includes, I believe, it's $72 million guaranteed. I'll tell you what: you give me that kind of money, I will say the most fabulous things about the Rod Pedersen show, and I will do it with a smile on my face, and everybody will believe me. So, and this is why at every turn, every chance he's gotten, he has pumped the tires of the team, particularly Tua. And because of all the stories that came out, and which weren't exactly wrong, that Brian Flores was not necessarily a huge fan of Tua, a lot of this offseason and into training camp and into the regular season has been about, let's build this guy's confidence. They got a lot of pieces around him with not only Tyreek Hill, but Teron Armstead at tackle, a lot of speed in the backfield with Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Cedric Wilson, another wide receiver. So they basically put everything in place for Tua to succeed. And another part of that was, let's build up the guy's confidence. And Tyreek Hill, one of the very first press conferences he had, talked about how confidence makes him a better player, in addition to his incredible speed, which we've already mentioned, and that he wants everybody on the team to be very confident, which is why he's throwing out the hyperbole when he's talking about Tua Tagovailoa being, like the most accurate passer who's ever stepped on a football field. And it's over the top a little bit. And you also have to understand, you've covered football long enough. You ask a player about a teammate, what's going to come out? It's going to be roses and flowers, compliments all over the place. And you take those, you try to get nuggets of particular, details, specific details of what a player might say about another teammate. A teammate saying another teammate's going to have a good year or is good. It's really no newsflash there. So now, having said all that, again, I apologize if I'm being very long-winded with every question you ask.
Oh, gosh. No. You're the guest.
Oh, okay. Well, the Stephen A. Smith on this notion that Dolphins are going to be terrible, that's completely ridiculous. They were 9-8 last year, and they have much better talent on offense with all the acquisition. They have every single starter back on defense, along with Melvin Ingram, who's a veteran quality player. And the only loss, if you want to go there, is Brian Flores himself, who was kind of the architect of that defense and whose fingerprints were all over it. Now they kept the defensive coordinator Josh Boyer, but from where I sit, it's not quite the same, and that it remains to be seen whether he can have the same kind of impact in terms of scheming as Brian Flores did, because for his shortcomings, and some Dolphin fans would tell you he's got a ton of those, the man can coach X's and O's on defense. Like nobody's business. So, and then you look at a team that was 9-8 last year with everything back on defense, the acquisition on offense. We figure they have the talent to be better than that record-wise. Their schedule is a lot more challenging than it was last year. So having said all of that, in a very long-winded type of way, the expectation is they're going to be in the mix for a playoff spot. Whether they can get there is going to depend on things breaking the right way, and that includes Tua Tagovailoa playing better than he's played his first two seasons, the defense being able to maintain the caliber of play close to what it was the last two seasons, the running game being a lot better, as expected, than it's been.
and staying healthy, which, brought Tua down last year, which we all know. Alain, thank you so much. Hopefully we can do this again. Maybe I'll see you Saturday night at the game, but this has been a long time coming. I love your stuff and appreciate your time here today.
Rod, my pleasure. Anytime. Absolutely. Would love to do it again.
Alain Poupart of Sports Illustrated's All Dolphins. We'll be right back with a sports update for Edo, Japan, and a viewer takeover segment. And coming up in hour 2, Tori Gurley with even more NFL analysis on this Football Friday. We'll be right back. You're watching on the Game Plus television network. We're also live streaming on YouTube Live, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The venue at River Cree, bringing you the best in live entertainment. One of the world's most gifted and accomplished ventriloquists, Terry Fader brings his repertoire of comedy, music, and unique impersonations to the venue at River Cree this September for one night only. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Blefuscu's army is at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It is a Football Friday, and just before we turn it over to the viewers, viewer takeover, a sports update. Round 2 of the CP Women's Open is underway at the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club. South Africa's Paula Retto set the pace Thursday by firing a course record 9 under 62. Hamilton's Alina Sharp and Maddie Zurich of London, Ontario, were the low Canadians, tied for 16th at 4 under. Smith Falls, Ontario's Brooke Henderson, the number 5 player in the world, started today 6 shots off the pace. Backup Michael O'Connor starts at quarterback tonight for the 8-1 BC Lions as they host the 5-5 Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's the second of a Friday night football doubleheader. Also tonight it gets rolling with the 4-5 Toronto Argonauts home to the 3-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats. The longtime rivals meet for the third time in 4 weeks, with the home team having won the prior 2. Buffalo Bills punter Matt Araiza and 2 of his former San Diego State teammates have been accused in a civil lawsuit of gang raping a 17-year-old at an off-campus party last fall. The lawsuit says the incident occurred at a Halloween party at a home where Araiza had been living. The plaintiff is now 18. No arrests have been made. San Diego police have not publicly identified any suspects. And the Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game set with the LA Angels at Rogers Center tonight. The Jays are coming off a 3-game sweep in Boston after scoring a 6-5, 10-inning win over the Red Sox Thursday night. Toronto will send Mitch White to the mound tonight against Angels lefty Reed Detmers. The sports update for Edo, Japan. With more than 160 restaurants nationwide, Edo, Japan is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated for more than 40 years. My goal is to have every time you walk by or drive by in Edo, Japan, you hear that in your ears. Get back to me and tell me if it happens. Football Friday. Loving it. I feel like we have a new friend, maybe even a new bestie. Alain Poupart, or as we say in France, Alain Poupart. We can talk Finns with the best of them. NFL. Randy from Winnipeg says, Brooke now 8 back. Woo. Day has not got off to a great start in Ottawa for one Brooke Henderson. Next hour, Tori Gurley with us. And more with Moose. Here we have a few minutes left and some good amount of time. I'm not understanding something. I need your help, viewers, Rod Squad. Where do you think Bo Levi Mitchell's going to go? It's kind of dawning on me here. Our poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships all across the prairies. Where is the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? Even the people close to Bo are telling me that his days in Calgary are done. And if you're Calgary, are you going to keep him as an insurance policy? Maybe. But how do we expect this to go? I got to get into this more with Moose next hour and you, the viewer. But our options are BC, Saskatchewan, the XFL, or other. Where is the likeliest landing spot? Are you people saying the landing spot is going to be Calgary? Tell me what you're voting on. Andrew Stout says, you got it, Rod. Merci. LOL. Bienvenue. Andrew. John, last minute of play in hour 1. John in Winnipeg says, Bo goes to the XFL or TSN. So you're saying TSN is a likely landing spot for Bo. That's been the talk, that he wants to be on television. Everybody wants to be on television. Like everybody can do it. Well, although Bo did draw rave reviews last year for his Grey Cup analysis. You're saying his career's over. Is that what we're saying now? And I see they're ripping Matt Dunnigan. I want to talk about him too. Hang on, everybody. Through this break, it's a Football Friday, CFL, NFL coming up next hour after this break on Game Plus Television.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
It's the Calgary Stampeders at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Bo Levi Mitchell is not starting for Calgary. It's the first time that he's, in his career, I think, that he's been healthy and is not starting for Calgary. Big story there.
You know, this isn't, a fly-by-night decision. This isn't something you just make on a whim just to try something new. This is a big decision.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It is hour 2. We're coming at you from sunny and hot South Florida, where life is great. We're on Game Plus television, live across all 10 provinces and 31 U.S. states. We are bringing in from the heartland of the Canadian Football League, the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, and the sweatpants capital, the Moose, Darren DuPont. And I told you, Moose, going into the show today, I was like, I'm so excited about today's show, but then I'm like, I'm excited about every day's show. And I think that when you get out of bed every day, you should be excited about going to work. And we are here. Isn't that just so much fun?
Oh, it's the best. And I was just thinking that when you said that you're so excited to get in here today. I'm like, that's how we feel every single morning. So yeah, it's awesome. We ask each other in the morning meetings, how are you doing today? Waiting for, a bad day, but it never happens. It's awesome.
Well, and I've just been going back and forth with Alain Poupart from Sports Illustrated, and he goes, I could have stayed on longer. And that's what I love about the folks at Game Plus said about us. They said, we love you guys' culture. And I'm like, so do I. Nobody wants to leave. So anyways, what have we been talking about? We're just going to continue the party here into hour 2. Talking about last night's Winnipeg Blue Bombers win over the Calgary Stampeders 31-29. The future of Bo Levi Mitchell may have started his last game for Calgary. Who saw this coming? And then tonight's preview, the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the BC Lions in the CFL. And could it be Cody Fajardo's last ever start? I think that there's a very good chance that it could be. To that NFL talk from last hour, what people don't understand is we can talk NFL with the best of them. You got a guy from Sports Illustrated saying, I would have liked to have stayed on longer. I'm like, well, next time. That is how it all worked. Next time. We got Tori Gurley coming in here next segment. And while I loathe to do it, today might be the day. If people want fantasy football questions, tell everybody now. I'll allow it, Darren. Fantasy football questions for Tori Gurley. It's not my thing. It's never been my thing, fantasy football. It takes up too much time. I'm not big on wasting time. But I'm assuming you'll be in at least a few fantasy football pools, leagues this season.
Yeah, I try and limit it to 1 or 2, but yeah, I'll play. It is fun. It's a way to stay engaged and have a little extra something going on Sundays, along with, if you're doing any fun betting or anything like that. So yeah, I'll be involved. I'll be interested to see what Tori's got to say.
Okay, well, if you have questions, by all means, fire them in. And the 902 text line is open, 902-518-3033. I would like to mix in a movie this weekend. I just got a lot of things to do down here in South Florida. I still haven't decided yet if I'm going to go to the restaurant in Fort Lauderdale with the Eagles coaches. I'm not joking. I haven't decided. I wanted to get through this show and then see where it goes. To tonight's games and the poll question, for those that just tuned in and maybe missed it earlier, the poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is this: what's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? And we're talking about the immediate landing spot. People are talking about next year. No, right now. Bo didn't even see the field last night for the Calgary Stampeders. So is he going to the trade block? And I'm saying this with all due respect. We spent enough time in Calgary. They know me. I know them. I'm not poking any crap at Bo. John Huffnagel's going to do what's best for the Calgary Stampeders, as everybody would do for themselves. And you'd like to think that us as employees would do what's best for us. Do you see them dealing Bo? Darren, might be a good place to start hour 2.
Yes and no. I mean, I see them dealing Bo if this comes from Bo, right? I think Bo almost has to initiate it to say, look, if you're not going to play me, if I'm not your guy anymore, don't park me on the bench. Let me still go have success, because I think I've got more to give. So I think he would have that conversation with Dave and with John and say, look, I've got more here. Would you be willing to let me go play somewhere else? And if they're saying no, because they don't want him to go to a division rival in BC or in Saskatchewan, which are 2 of those landing spots, then he might, reconsider re-signing at the end of the year and go into the XFL. But I think it's probably it's got to come from Bo first.
Yeah, and you go back to his statement that he released on social media, Bo, on Wednesday through his Facebook and his Instagram, where he said this hurt and he'll look at himself. Well, he might have looked at himself in retrospect, and it still doesn't matter. It looks like Calgary's going to go with Jake Maier moving forward, because I'll defer to the former CFL coach that I spoke to this morning here in the States, and he goes, look, the Stamps didn't win, but Jake Maier had a 150 quarterback efficiency rating. He was nearly perfect. What's he supposed to do? He can't play all 44 positions or 44 players' spots. He did all he could do. Probably earned a start next week. So where does Bo go? And the thing is, and you'd have to ask Bo. I'm talking to people this morning in Bo's camp, if you will, and they're starting to believe that Bo doesn't even finish this season with the Calgary Stampeders. That's kind of what we're getting to the bottom here right now. And that's the thing. I'm sure some people get tired of it, but I don't care. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. When you know it's time, you know. I wonder if Bo knows yet. Is he ready to move into broadcasting, move into whatever? I knew that I was ready for the next chapter of my career. And I wasn't going to go back to doing play-by-play and all that other stuff. Didn't want to do it. Only Bo will know. And it isn't necessarily entirely up to him. It's in John Huffnagel's best interest, too. Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, Huff will first consult with Bo before doing any type of trade. Huff and Dave love and are loyal to Bo, and so they should be. But it is a business. That's the thing about Bo Levi. Well, we've had our thing. I know he's a special player. Everybody knows he's a special player, and I know what they think of him with the Calgary Stampeders. They'll consult with him, but they'll still do what's best for the employer. I understand that. I get it. C. Walker, regarding fantasy football, who I believe is in Winnipeg. C. Walker says in the chat, same Rod, never got the allure of fantasy football. And that's totally fine. I don't have a problem with fantasy football. It's just not my thing. That's why I'm saying today I will allow any questions when you've got Tori for as long as we do. He's coming up in the next segment. From my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. She says, can you ask Tori how he feels the Cardinals will do this year? Absolutely. Like Tori's the Messiah or something. They're going to be good, Chris. They're going to be good. I wouldn't mind doing a little roadie out to Arizona, which, by the way, people are starting to look at my social media, and they're seeing the beautiful environs of South Florida, and they're like, is that where the sports trip's going to be this year? And I'm like, well, I would like it to be, but Darren is the boss, and he will ultimately decide where we go. And I said that you're kind of looking at Los Angeles. But Super Bowl's in Arizona, and I can guarantee we'll be there. How are those plans going, Moose, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, Super Bowl in Arizona is great, but there's also something really interesting happening in Florida this year, and it may be an opportunity to see TB12. I don't know if it's going to line up, but we're working really hard to see if it can't line up to see TB12 play in Tampa. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, yeah. I obviously would be all over that. It would be a nice little drive for us to go over 3.5 hours to the Gulf Coast side of Florida and watch Tampa, Tom. I'll be honest with you. It is the Rod Pedersen Show, but I don't want to sit here and talk about me the whole time. But I will say I'm very grateful to have been able to watch Tom Brady live in San Diego on a sports trip December 2015. And I'll never forget Robert Kraft driving around on a golf cart in the tailgating, just greeting Patriots fans, taking selfies with fans. I think people don't understand. They say no fun league for the NFL. I don't think they understand it. I've been to just about every NFL stadium I've been to, watched almost every team play. It's not no fun. It's a lot of fun. Which reminds me, before I jump back to the CFL thing here, did you see what Jerry Jones said to Stephen A. Smith by chance on First Take yesterday at the Star, the Cowboys facility in Dallas? Did you see it?
Hit me with it. No, I didn't.
It was amazing. It was amazing. You got to go back and look. Stephen A. was in a Cowboys jersey, which would be akin to me wearing like a Stampeders jersey, which I would do, but Stephen A. was wearing one. And Jerry, we saw a bit of a glimpse, I think, into his psyche. He kind of went off a little bit. And he goes, people like you, Stephen A., say we couldn't have this, and we couldn't be champions, and we couldn't have this star, and we couldn't have a facility like this. Deep down, Stephen A., I think you're a fraud. And the whole place, all the Cowboys fans, but he wasn't really rude about it. He goes, I think you're a fraud, and deep down, you're a Cowboys fan. And then the place really went nuts. And I'm just like, can you imagine if some of the CFL tall foreheads got out from behind their desks and did some fun stuff like this? I think there's some would. Can you imagine Victor Cui? That would be fun if Victor Cui came down. Amber Dolman in BC. Some of the people that are, I think, decision makers that we were. Gary Stern, my God, the guy would be awesome. Let's put him up on the panel.
It would be so great.
Anyways, back on point here on a Football Friday. They're digging our poll question here. BW from Edmonton says in the chat, could Bo Levi end up in Hamilton? Might save their season, too. I mean, I'll say it again. Why I don't understand why Dane Evans is starting tonight for Hamilton, given Matthew Schultz is coming off his career best start ever for the Ticats last week in Montreal. It's fascinating when you think about it. It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way, 11:11 Mountain. Clearly, we're on the right path here. Just be cognizant of what you're thinking right now, folks. Colin in Ottawa says, sorry, Sasky fans, Bo isn't coming to Regina to save your season. Huff wouldn't be stupid enough to trade him there because he's way better than Cody. But would he trade him to Hamilton?
He might. And here's why. It's the East, right? I mean, you look at Saskatchewan and BC, two division rivals. You might meet them in the playoffs, one of those two teams in the playoffs. Why not send them out to the East, where you're not going to see him until maybe a Grey Cup? That makes the most sense to me. Hamilton, I mean, Dane Evans had a really good year last year, and Matthew Schultz having a good year. And I don't think Orlando Steinauer's really on the hot seat until, he puts two back-to-back bad seasons together. I think he's okay because of what he accomplished the last couple of years. But that's one really intriguing possibility is the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Everybody, let's hear from you. 902 text line 518-3033. If you're watching on Game Plus Television or if you're watching on YouTube, jump into the chat. C. Walker in Winnipeg says, Bo stays... No, C. Walker says, with the turtle race in the East, Bo would be a game changer in that division. Oh, that would be a stick of dynamite up there, but wouldn't it, in that whole division? Bo coming in there and just being like a skunk at a picnic, or a... Yeah. And the thing is, there are those here saying that Bo isn't going anywhere. He's a great insurance policy in Calgary. But one thing about Huff, he is not about distractions at all. And I'm not saying Bo would make himself a distraction, but Bo being sat down in the stretch drive and playoffs would just be a distraction they don't necessarily, I don't think, would want in Calgary. So... been thinking a lot. Have you watched the Dolly Parton documentary on Netflix, by the way, Moose? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You got to watch it. And the biggest song of her career was I Will Always Love You. First line of the song. If I stayed, I'd only be in the way. Biggest reason why I'm sitting in South Florida. Same thing as Bo. If he stays, he might only be in the way. So
that's, yeah.
And then 9 to 5, Jane Fonda, which you're far too young to even understand the significance of Jane Fonda. But that 9 to 5 movie and Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton, they said, Dolly, we're going to make a movie about working class women in the workplace. Can you write a song for it? And Dolly, we'd like you to be in the movie. She goes, yeah, let me get to work on the 9 to 5. You know the song. And Jane Fonda says, all we wanted was a song, Dolly. She wrote an anthem, which 40 years later still stands and is played on the radio. Dolly Parton is just, can she play quarterback for the Riders? Then they might have a chance.
Yes.
Oleg in Winnipeg says, I get my best advice from Dolly Parton songs too. Just like RP. If I stay, I'd only be in the way. Think about it.
Yeah.
Moose, I'll see you back a little later on, okay?
See you then.
All right. Tori Gurley coming up next. Get your fantasy questions ready. And whatever questions you'd like for the Browns and Packers alum and CFL great Tori Gurley. We'll be right back. It is a Football Friday. You're watching on Game Plus Television and also YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
The Venue at River Cree, bringing in the best in live entertainment. One of the world's most gifted and accomplished ventriloquists, Terry Fader brings his repertoire of comedy, music, and unique impersonations to the Venue at River Cree this September for one night only. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands. Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Blefuscu's army is at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Gorgeous Friday in South Florida, and just over 24 hours away from the preseason finale for the Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles will be there. And as I said, and I'll tell our guy Tori Gurley right now that I invited all fantasy-related questions for Tori. Fire 'em at us now. I don't mind. I won't do it every time Tori's with us, but now would be the time. Tori Gurley joins us, and I'm going to say this right now, Tori. We only got 2 hours, but I'm going to run through your list of teams here for our viewers that may be new to the program. There are many. Tori's only 34 years of age, but he started with Green Bay 2 seasons, 2011 and 2012, and then Vikings, Raiders, Buccaneers, Chargers, Ravens, Browns, where he played the most significant amount of games, Bills in 2014, and then in the CFL with the Argos, Bombers, and Red Blacks. And somewhere around there, he and I got to be real good friends. Tori, happy Friday. How are things in your world?
Everything is great. You know, family's good. It was Kimberly's birthday, so happy birthday, Shug. And just another day in paradise.
I love it. Man, it seems like every season we talk about the exciting possibilities entering a new NFL season. This one seems particularly awesome, though, doesn't it? New coaches in new places. Tom's back. Man, what has you the most excited about the NFL season this year?
I would say the Buffalo Bills. It's a lot of hype around Josh Allen and Buffalo. And last year, literally, they were 11 seconds away from advancing to the AFC Championship game. And it took, Patrick Mahomes to do something miraculous. So now, with these guys having that, under their belt of, misery, I think it's time for them to go out and really put the league on notice with them opening up against the LA Rams and maybe spoiling their Super Bowl victory.
What's interesting about that, you mentioned the Rams. How about they and the Bengals joint practices? They're cut short because of a brawl on the field. What was your take of that? to do.
That wasn't smart at all. I would never schedule a practice. Not again. Now, if it's a game, you're gonna protect yourself because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose your money. But in practice, fights, brawls, all that can happen, and all they're gonna do is just kick you out of practice. And for someone like Aaron Donald, he wanted to be out of practice. So, I don't think that was a good idea to have a joint practice with those teams because a lot of emotions are high. You literally 6 months ago, you were just defeated in the biggest game of your life. And now you get to see those guys for 2 days and you're going against them. And that was the type of smack talk that, the Rams were saying to the Bengals is like, we don't care what you're doing now because we beat you when it mattered. And, with those guys being alpha males and super competitive men, that's all it took. And from there, man, it was just a brawl.
Oh, man, I'm with you. You and I think the same. I thought it was incredibly stupid to pair these two teams against each other because at the Super Bowl, for 2 weeks, they were ramped up to hate each other. And now you're going to put them against each other in practice? Why would you do that? I'm glad you saw it the way that I did. Now, to some other things, and as you talk, a lot of things pop into my head here. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady gets 11 days off, and everybody wants to know why. And Tom's saying, none of your business. Your thoughts on how that is all played out?
I'm old school, and I'm not a fan of that. Even though it's Tom Brady, having that type of time off during camp where you're not even in the building, I just think that's a bad look because we've all known him for being Captain America. Someone that's always there, that's going to go through the grind and be a leader. And for him to be absent for those 11 days, that could have been time spent where a rookie could have learned from him or a defensive back could have picked his brain. And that's just 11 days away from football. And I never think anyone is ever on the status of I can just take time away from the game and it'll come back like riding a bicycle because this game will humble. No matter who you are, we've all been humbled when it came to football.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm a loyal guy, as are you. I'm like a loyalty guy, and I love Tom. So I'm like, you do whatever you want, Tom. That's how I look at it. But anyways, so to the fantasy questions. Tacona in Winnipeg says, who's the best value quarterback? He guesses Justin Herbert. But who's your number one fantasy quarterback in the NFL here?
Ooh, man, you can Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. These guys have the ability to extend plays. Josh Allen, where you can extend plays with your legs, and then they have cannon arms where they can get the ball 80 and 90 yards downfield, hurry up and score. So that would definitely be something that I think about if I'm going through this process of drafting a quarterback, is where I can get value from, yards through the air as well as rushing yards.
They want to know your thoughts on Baker Mayfield in Carolina. So that's the team closest to you. Baker won that job outright. I think we all kind of thought he would. What's the outlook for the Panthers with Baker there?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Baker. This is a fresh opportunity for him to come out and compete and win the fans over in Carolina. He's done a great job. He's won the job extremely fast. There was no question marks about it. He went in there and handled business, and now it's up to him and what he's going to do with it. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited because he has some weapons out there, and if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, I feel like it would definitely help Baker be the best quarterback he could be.
Big if, though, isn't it? I mean, McCaffrey, what I see, he's only played something like 18 games the last 3 years. At some point, you're going to get a label on you.
Yeah, he's been in street clothes a lot, and the fans in Carolina are hoping that he's he stays healthy because he's such a vital piece of the offense. Like whenever he's on the field, he's always a threat, and now that leaves one-on-one for guys on the perimeter, and that's where that could just make it extremely convenient for Baker to find those matchups and exploit them.
When you were in Cleveland, how much time did you spend around the Haslam family? Because to me, they just look like a bunch of bumbling fools. And I wonder how you feel about the way they've handled the entire Deshaun Watson situation, from acquiring him in the first place to now sticking by him, and now not really acquiring anybody at the quarterback position to hold the fort down while he's gone, other than, as you know, Jacoby Brissett. But what's the outlook there?
Well, personally, I would put it this way: is the respect I have for the Haslam family for giving me an opportunity to play on their team. I'm forever indebted to that. When it comes to how they run their business and how they select their players, that's what they do. I do have a relationship with them. I've been over to his house for Christmas and had conversations, and that's such a sticky situation. And the best way to explain it is like my heart goes out to all the young ladies who's been affected in their families. And I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson could learn from this and, really, realize like he put a lot of people, in danger it's going to affect them long term, including himself. And, so many young men look up to him, especially African-American quarterbacks. He and Cam Newton are guys where, guys like myself, we would gravitate towards because his talent was just so rare. So, I'm hoping that he can get it together and reform and make the most of, the situation he put himself in. But, back to the Haslam family, like I said, I have good things to say about them because they helped me in life where they gave me a chance to play ball. But, that process of them, getting Deshaun Watson and structuring the contract the way they did, I guess they're just trying to win football games and, whatever it takes. But, that's something that, they're going to have to deal with. And, I just get to sit back and be a fan of it.
Well, hey, very well spoken, by the way. And I just read off Tori's playing career. I should mention his broadcast career, which includes NFL Network, ESPN, SEC Network, Rod Pedersen Show, as you always throw in there. Nice job, Tori. And like I said, the loyalty thing. I see why you say it the way you do. When you know somebody, sometimes you give them more of a pass. And that's kind of what you're doing there with the Browns. And I hope it works out for everybody, like you say. Now let's move on to the only team that matters. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. We all know they have the talent, but they continue to make coaching blunders. Almost, not every week, but close. And that's what I think is holding them back is Mike McCarthy. What do you see in America's team?
Yeah, Jerry Jones is out here, talking about he wants a Super Bowl. But right now, I think the Cowboys are in trouble. That huge offensive line they once had, that was the nucleus of the team, is slowly dissipated. And now, you just have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, older Zeke Elliott, and a Tony Pollard. And, I think that division is tough, the NFC East. It seemed like the Eagles, they drafted well, and Jalen Hurts is on the rise. You have other teams. You have the Commanders in that division. Maybe they can do something with Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera being a defensive head coach. And the Giants are bad, but Dallas really have to get their stuff together. And just the way they looked in preseason, those guys, playing undisciplined ball. I think they were leading the league in penalties. And if that's going to foreshadow the future, then it's going to be a long season for the Cowboys.
I think 129 yards in penalties in the preseason loss at Denver. We had 2 return kicks, though, at the Chargers last week. Cavante Turpin with those, which is a whole other story that I'm not going to get into today. But I think Denver Broncos would be a good next question for you. They think that Russell Wilson will lead them for sure to the playoffs and maybe deep into the playoffs. Do you see that happening with the roster around Russell Wilson?
I'm excited. I wish we could have watched them in the preseason. Russ hasn't taken any snaps yet, so I think his first live action with the team is going to be that opening game against the Seahawks. And I would, if it was me, I would rather knock off the Russ, in a preseason game. But I guess they feel very comfortable in his abilities to go out and lead this high-powered offense. You got a stable of running backs and you have weapons on the perimeter. And with Russ' skill set of being able to, make second reaction throws and just push the ball vertically downfield, it's going to be a lot of fireworks, but we will see. Denver does have a good defense, and John Elway has done a great job with drafting and putting the right players around it. But another name to look out for is going to be offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. This is his chance now to put a stamp on his offense. He's with Aaron Rodgers over the past few years in Green Bay. So we'll see what he can do with Russ and all the talent that's around him.
Well, he came from Green Bay. Your boy Aaron has lost Devontae Adams. He's lost Hackett, his offensive coordinator, who clearly he loves. He's back-to-back MVP seasons. How's your boy number 12 going to do you think, with all these losses around him?
He's out there with a bunch of young guys. Like, he is so old in the locker room. He's the old guy. So we will see how he makes that adjustment because, his career has been predicated on receivers being in their prime and, being able to play at a high level. So we'll see how he can elevate those guys and get them up to speed because Aaron wants to win. And defensively, the Packers are in good position. They're kind of loaded. So we'll see what Coach LaFleur could do with developing these guys and how Aaron can go out and get the job done. So, it's going to be exciting to watch those guys, compete in the NFC North.
David in Winnipeg wants to know if you have any relation or are any relation to Todd Gurley.
No relation at all. I get that all the time. And, we used to pick at each other. I would see him in passing and I always tell him that I was the first one to make it to the NFL, but no relation.
Okay, gotcha. For my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat, she would be your second biggest fan in Canada because I'm your first biggest fan in Canada. She wants to know how you think the Arizona Cardinals will do. That is her team. That is my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Yeah, Kyler Murray just got the new big contract, and they had this thing in there saying that he doesn't use this enough. Watching tape. So 4 hours of tape every day. If I'm going to give you $200 million, you would think if you're a quarterback, you'll watch film every day. But DeAndre Hopkins, I know he's under a suspension. I think he was trying to appeal it, but we'll see how that goes. If not, he's going to be out 6 games. They did acquire Hollywood Brown from the Ravens. So that old Oklahoma connection. And I think they're going to be high powered. They're definitely an offensive driven team, and it's going to rely on the arm of Kyler Murray and his decision making. So hopefully, with him being smaller in stature, he can survive a 17 game season and put those guys in position to make a run.
Jennifer from the Four Seasons Sports Palace says the Packers will be fine. Aaron will get her done, and our receivers will surprise everyone. Randy from Winnipeg says he has Kyler Murray on 2 of his fantasy teams. So, yeah, he'd better perform for that. What is it, $46 million per year, I think?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Tori, anything else? What's happening with you? What's keeping you busy these days?
You know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. So I accepted a position with the NFL Senior Bowl. I'm a scout now. What I do is I help scout the top players in the country, seniors. And there's an all-star game in Mobile, Alabama every year. It's been around for 100-plus years, so I'm part of that staff, me and several other former players. We started out at NFL Scout School a couple years ago, and, we moved up the program to where now, I'm scouting the Southeast. I'm still running my business as well with helping athletes, but I'm currently in the middle of, watching film and changing diapers and taking my wife out on a birthday and anniversary, as well as helping guys get drafted. So we are a one-stop shop around here.
I love it. I knew that you would be busy and obviously a success. When you come through South Florida, I will send you my number and let's get together. Tori, thanks for this wonderful update, and we'll do it again soon. Enjoy the football.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our NFL insider, Tori Gurley, joining us from the Carolinas. We got a sports update on the way and more with the Moose. It's a Football Friday, wrapping up our real fun week. And you are watching on Game Plus Television and also YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Alain, looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day. The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
It's a lot of folks' favorite day. Yeah, buddy. Football Friday here on the old RP show. I just found out in the break that we don't have Darren DuPont. Just found it out as we were coming into the segment here that we don't have him. So it'll be just you and I. What do we have here, by the way, on a sports update? Let's do that now. And I can, again, make it without Moose. We've done it many times before, but I do need to log back into my wire service here. My cousin Christine in Medicine Hat says Tori is her favorite guest. You know what? I think he's mine too. Tori will always be very, very special to me. It's okay. We got it now. The Toronto Blue Jays, sports update here, will take on the Los Angeles Angels at home tonight after completing a 3-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox Thursday. Toronto won 6-5 in 10 innings as the team holds on to the second wildcard spot in the American League. Mitch White will take the mound for the Jays. The 9-1 BC Lions. Are they not 8-1? It says 9-1 on the wire copy. Can somebody look into that? Moose, can you look into that before we bring you on? Will play their first game without star quarterback Nathan Rourke tonight when they take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders at home. Rourke was diagnosed with a Liz Frank sprain in the foot following last week's win over the Riders and will undergo surgery. Michael O'Connor will be the starter as the Lions look to continue their winning ways. It's 8-1. They got it wrong here, but I'm not one of those people that feels better by pointing out others' mistakes. I'm not that kind of person. Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Tiger Cats will meet for the third of 4 regular season meetings this season between the rivals. The 4 and 5 Argos are only half a game ahead of the 4 and 6 Alouettes for the East Division lead. Both the Argos and Ticats enter the game having lost 2 of their last 3. This sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. I'm going to talk a little bit about Landmark Cinemas before this segment is out. See which movie I'm going to go to this weekend. Bullet Train is leading the way. Maybe Beast. But let's bring him in now, Darren Moose DuPont. And Clark has told me that, in fact, 8-1. The BC Lions are 8-1. Sometimes I wonder why I pay such an exorbitant fee for the wire service to get wrong information. But
I know.
Thank God I got it all trapped up here. I want to say something here for you, Moose, and you feel free to agree or disagree. I feel like the NFL just couldn't screw it up if they tried, and I'll tell you why. We had Alain Poupart on in hour 1, the Dolphins writer for Sports Illustrated, and he's like, not a lot of starters are going to play Saturday night. No starters played last night for the 4 teams that played in the NFL preseason. Starters aren't playing anymore. So why would you buy a ticket and go? I'll tell you why. Because you can buy a ticket for $6 and go watch the Miami Dolphins and Philadelphia Eagles, plus applicable service fees. I get people still have to do business. But here's the NFL. They're like, we have so much TV money and all other kinds of money. We don't need to make money off selling tickets, so we'll sell them for $6. That's where it starts to go to Hard Rock Stadium Saturday night. I, like a fool, paid $200 to sit in a luxury suite because I clicked on the wrong link. And that's okay because I have money. I don't want to burn money, but I'm like, you deserve it. You don't spend money on yourself very often. How about that? That the NFL is so big they can charge $6 to get in, and it won't even affect their bottom line at all.
I know. I mean, they really, you lower the ticket price to try and get as many people in the building and use up as many seats as you can and bring in as much revenue as you can. But they're basically planning to take on the expenses of a preseason game and not sell any tickets. It's a bonus if you sell some tickets to the preseason game. So yeah, that's quite a thing for the National Football League to be in that position.
Well, here is again, we get into this ticket buying discussion, which our viewers love, and I really love it. I don't go to every game for free. I go to a lot of games for free, but I don't go to every game for free. So here earlier this week, again, for those that weren't watching, a lot of our viewers were, but a lot weren't. I completely forgot all of the Dolphins media policies because I've been dealing with teams all across Western Canada. So I forgot. Yeah. I had to have my request in 10 days before the game to get a spot in the press box. So I'm like, I'll buy a ticket. So I'm hovering over the link at Ticketmaster, and I click the first one. And I'm like, the cheapest seats, $200? Damn the NFL. What's wrong with these greedy bastards? But they can get it because it's the NFL. Buy my ticket, boom, 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 and then then I get this email. Congratulations, you're going to the game in style, sitting in the luxury suite. I'm like, what? I don't need to sit in the luxury suite. I just want to be in the stadium. Oh, I clicked the wrong damn link. Well, let's try this other link and see what they have. $6? That tells me even more about the NFL. John, well, and here's the thing, how I look at it, and I think you will too. John in Winnipeg, he says from $6 for the preseason to $6,000 for a Super Bowl ticket. Not bad. Dude, it's how you reel them in. Because you get those little kids coming to a preseason game, they don't care if it's Tua Tagovailoa or Skylar Thompson or Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater will probably play. Sounds like Tua ain't. And for the Eagles, I don't know. Probably Jalen Hurts won't play, but Gardner Minshew's their backup. These are still names. So those kids start going to the games, and they get hooked. And then you hope eventually, if you're the NFL, these kids go on to be billionaire CEOs and can buy tickets to the Super Bowl. I think that's the way that's the thinking.
That's the
Tell
thinking.
me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, you're right. And they want to get in there, get the kids in, get the families in, and anything you can do to try and get the kids into the football games. And here's an opportunity to have extended tailgates and have some fun things going on and engage the fan base and hook those kids who may not even be able to afford the increased, regular season ticket prices or get in because the stadium's sold out. So you get them in, then they get a little bit older. They want to go back to the game. And because they went to the preseason game, they're probably going to watch the team now on television throughout the season. So it's all about building fans.
Ding, 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 ding. And that's why we're the Golden Corral of sports talk. Because I now know, you, as do you, maybe you have a relation playing flag football, NFL flag football in Canada. But now what I'm hearing is those kids in Canada, their whole team, they play for the, novice Jaguars. Rather than go to Rider games, the whole team's loading up and flying to Jacksonville for one game because they play for the Jaguars. That is the world that we live in, and it hooks them forever. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says if you bide your time, there are tickets for anything for cheap. Greta Van Fleet, $60 seats were $20 by showtime. Greta Van Fleet. Is she the one that had the court television show, Greta Van Fleet? Do we know her?
How about that?
I wouldn't pay 20 cents, but that's just me. Yeah. I'm not a music guy. Hang on, everybody. We'll be right back for Overtime. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. Overtime is next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. We're also live streaming on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Amazon, Google, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big
us at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
All right, welcome back. It is Overtime, brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. By the way, what's on at the movies this week with Landmark Cinemas? Beast is in theaters now, starring Idris Elba. You know him from Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, plus The Suicide Squad. Idris stars in a pulse-pounding new thriller about a father and his two teenage daughters who find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has but one apex predator. Our staff will pick the winners who texted in movies to our 902 line. Go enjoy the movies this week on the RPShow and Landmark Cinemas. And by the way, Darren, Jack Fulton, whom you met in Calgary, writes in on the text line. He says, Bullet Train was a crazy and cool movie. Loved the twists and turns. Did you say you've been to Bullet Train yet?
Not yet, but it's on my list.
Sounds like it would be a movie that we want to go to. It's definitely on my list as early as this weekend. It is viewer takeover, like I say. Sean in Vancouver writes in. He says, I hope the roof is open tonight at the game. Boggles my mind how often they leave it closed. Why have it? Happy Friday, Roddy. Go Riders. Well, the last game, the hydraulics were broken, as I understand. Do you remember that? We had Neil McAvoy on the Monday, and the hydraulics were broken. Man, I get it. I've been in that stadium before, you know, when it was just it looked like a pillow, a big quilt roof, that it didn't open. Oh, my God. Yeah. Who thought that was a good idea? You been to BC
Doesn't breathe. There's no air coming in. Oh, I've never been to a game. I've been in the building, though, and I've watched some other football, but not a CFL game in the building.
I love BC Place. I loved it before. I love it now. I tell you what, the BC Lions, they're taking a lot of meat off the bone of that interview that we did this week. They tweeted again another quote of mine about Nathan Rourke, and when he was on this show, good work, Clark, getting Nathan Rourke on, because I've referenced it many times. They've taken all these clips out of that interview from their podcast, and they're posting them all week. Bravo, BC Lions. I would hope every team has their own podcast. Not every team does have their own podcast, though. If we're not careful, the BC Lions will overtake us as the number one CFL podcast, Darren.
You got to be on our toes. They're doing good work over there.
Here's Jeff. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Matt and Nick specifically in that department. Jeff in Hamilton's watching on Game Plus Television, where we are carried on Cogeco Cable and Rogers Cable. Jeff says, I vote for Hamilton as Bo Levi's landing spot, Rod, and I think Fajardo will go to Toronto. It'll be just like going into the 2012 season when Burris and Ray jumped from west to east. How about that? Boy. Man, did we cover a lot today. Just a fantastic football discussion today, both NFL and CFL. And quick, Darren, is Cody Fajardo making his last start for the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight?
I'm going to say no. Pressure's on, and I think that he'll rise to the occasion. So I'm going to say no.
Dougal Cameron in Calgary says the Argos make sense. Lots of ex-Stampeders wearing Argos shirts. Yeah, I think, is that by design what the Argos have done? Going and pillaging the Stampeders, both coaching and playing staffs. Ryan Dinwiddie, most obviously. Chris Sweet coaching the offensive line. Sweeter. People are saying Bo may go east. Okay, thank you, everybody, for chiming in, because I'm like, that's our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. What's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell, and our options, which we came up with as a staff, were BC, Saskatchewan, the XFL or other, and others been leading the way, and people are thinking that he's going to go east. Phil is watching in Dauphin, Manitoba, and he says, good morning, TGIF. Hell of a game last night for both teams. He's talking about the Blue Bombers and the Stampeders. Both teams had a lot to prove, and methinks Bo Levi will have to get used to being on the bench for a while. As to the poll question, I picked other, because I can't see the Stamps helping the Riders out. I can see him maybe going to the Ticats. Hashtag Bob's your uncle. That's Phil in Dauphin, Manitoba. So I guess, Darren, tell me, this is why we love sports. If somebody had told you going into the CFL season that Bo Levi Mitchell might not end up the season in Calgary, would you have believed it?
No, I would have said they're crazy to think that Bo's not going to finish the season with the Calgary Stampeders. If there was an untouchable outside of, it'd be him and Zach Collaros, right? It would be two untouchables, in the Canadian Football League. Is not going to move. No chance, never going to happen, at least not this year. And sure enough, things have played out this way in Calgary. And, with Jake Mayer having some success, that's made Bo expendable. So it'll be interesting to see what John Hufnagel does and how he handles his room.
Nelson Hakowich in the chat says, move Cody Fajardo before the guaranteed contract rules come into play and they have to take a cap hit. If you had told me going into the season that the Riders wouldn't finish the year with Cody Fajardo at quarterback, I would have said two things. A, it doesn't surprise me because people were turning on them already. And two, it would have said this season's not going well at all for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Or it's not going to go well at all for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What an absolute mess that is. We're even talking about Cody Fajardo not potentially finishing the season. But what I'm hearing, too, and what the people are writing into our social media channels, is that leaders don't make excuses. Well, I know a lot of leaders that make excuses, but they're just bad leaders. But with Cody, it started, they tell me, last minute of play in the RP show. They're telling me that it started last year when he called out his receivers in that game in Calgary, and they haven't got off his back since. In 45 seconds, Darren, do you go along with that Cody isn't saying the right things? I don't like it, but I'm not always right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say, as long as the play on the field is there, right? And the ball is getting to the receivers and everybody's happy. So, I don't think it goes back to that. I think he's just got to find a way to have a good game.
That's what we'll be watching for tonight, an awesome CFL doubleheader on the go. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Tori Gurley. Thanks to Alain Poupart, our newest friend from Sports Illustrated, the Dolphins writer. And you have a great weekend, Moose. And the same to all of our staff, all of the viewers. We'll reconvene on Monday with ESPN Cincinnati's Mo Egger, Sirius XM Zig Fracassi. We'll see you Monday, noon Eastern, here on Game Plus.
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Right on. Good one, Rod. Hoorah.